All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Christian Kuntz Podcast. I'm here with my boys Vinny and Trey.
Dude.
We got Jesse behind the boards, Uncle Swing, Tiger Hood with a camera, walking around. We are joined by a very special guest, a name that a lot of Pittsburgh people might not know yet. Straight out of Bozeman, Montana, Lance McCutcheon. Lance, how we feeling today after that? I mean, we did a upper body workout today. Dude,
You guys are in the gym?
I'm busting out of my shirt today. If you couldn't tell, how you feel after that?
I'm a little sore, but we good.
We're good.
Can we get a zoom in on Christian flexing real quick?
Yeah.
I don't even know if
Yeah.
that's...
Well, this shirt's big, but
Baggy tee.
no, it's a baggy tee. But we did some volume on some upper body. Lance is strong. Lance is a wide receiver.
What you benching, Lance?
No, he got me
We're
today.
not maxing, but I'm doing the same weight as him.
Damn, this is crazy.
I'm just being honest.
This is crazy. You're a
Former
receiver.
linebacker.
Well, we were doing volume reps, and I wasn't pushing it like I should have.
Yeah.
Nah, Lance is a strong motherfucker. Lance, thank you for coming on today. I know we had some scheduling issues, but I want to hop into your story because, dude, it kind of reminds me of my story a little bit, even though, you FCS guy, Montana State, you made the team in LA your rookie year, and then since then it's kind of been up and down. Walk me through just, your college experience a little bit, like going into the pros and what it's been like battling, making the team in LA your rookie year, and then being on a P squad the last 3 years, and what that's grind been like, because that's kind of why we started this show. These are the stories that like people don't know about that want to hear. And I'm intrigued, we're Lance, me and Lance are in there every day working out. So we spent some time together this off season already, just in the steam room, cold tub, we're rehabbing together, whatever. So, and his story's crazy, but talk to us about, the grind it's been, making that team, what it was like. You're a new father now, P squad, you're battling. Walk us through that, what it's been like.
Yeah, so from Bozeman, Montana, went to Bozeman High. Only had one offer coming out of high school to Montana State. Committed on a 25% scholarship.
Wow.
For freshman year was kind of forced to play, didn't redshirt. Sophomore year, didn't really start playing until like the second half of the season. And, we're a run-first team at Montana State, so really was out there blocking, but, I was happy to be playing.
Yeah.
And then junior year.
Balled a little bit.
Got to play a little bit. We got a new receiver coach that year. And I don't like to put all the blame on him, but the moment he got there in the winter, he's kind of had it out for me. So I didn't really see the field like that. We played 14 games that year, made it to the semifinals, the FCS playoffs. And out of those 14, I played 4. Like, legit got playing time in 4 of those games. And then don't play in 2020 because of COVID. And then that winter, going into 21, we got a brand new coaching staff. And so I was able to get, fresh eyes on me, get a fresh opportunity with new guys in the building, and just kind of went crazy, did what I could, and was able to get an undrafted deal to the Rams.
Wow.
And went down there and, was expecting to contribute a little bit. When I got there, they were fresh off a Super Bowl. So, the reps and, guys who were practicing and guys who weren't, whatever, I was kind of thrown in a position to, get some playing time, get some reps. And then we get to camp and, it was complete opposite.
Yeah.
And, we don't have any rookie periods. And
talk about that, because, dude, people don't understand, guys coming in trying to make the team, especially an undrafted free agent, there are no reps for you when training camp rolls around. So how the hell are you supposed to make the team?
When I got to practice, we would start with the special teams, the drill, and then the unit. And then I go do receiver indie, routes on air, and then the 4 or 5 team periods we had, my practice is done right after routes on air. I'm standing next to the assistant receiver coach, Coach Oli, and just hearing the plays, going over, my assignment. And
your mental rep.
Yeah, my practice was an hour and a half, and then I stood for the next hour and a half.
Talk about that, please.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild that people don't understand. The receiver's crazy, dude. There's only sometimes there's 2 receivers on the field at a time. So,
Yeah.
like, if you're an undrafted guy and you're entering training camp, dude, to make the team as an undrafted free agent as a receiver is, like, bonkers.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask
think
real
about
quick,
that.
I'm curious for undrafted and, like, getting invited to, camps and whatever and, like, just doing workouts. What does that look like? Do you have an agent reaching out for you on your behalf? Is there, like, a network almost where, like, guys are watching? Like, because I remember even Christian talking about, and you could speak in this too, like, you were basically at work, right? Like, you were putting in a dog fence when you got your call. So, like, how does that look for you guys? Like, I don't think people understand. Like, they just think you're, undrafted and show up one day. So
Yeah, so I went and did my pro day training in Seattle at FSP. Have an agent, got connected with him from the guy who was, training all of us, and he kind of handled all the calls for me. Watching the draft for the 3 days, I kind of knew I wasn't going to get drafted. Only had really 1 year of like legit tape and film my last year, so I already was going into it knowing I wasn't going to get drafted. But during when the Rams had their last pick go through the draft, I don't even remember what number it was, but my agent had called me and said, "Hey, Rams want to offer you an undrafted deal. We're going to commit to it unless you like get drafted." And so we do that, and then actually after the Rams had called me, basically saying, "Welcome to the team," blah blah blah. I guess I want to say it was the Steelers, the Falcons, and there was one other team that wanted to give me an undrafted deal. But Rams reached out first, so I gave them my word, and
It ended up
went
working
down
out.
there.
Yeah, ended up working out. When you were back in Montana State, you didn't play much your junior year. You said you only played 4 games. At that point, did you think, like, okay, I got 1 more year of college football left, and then that's it? Or did you kind of, like, know in your mind, like, I'm good enough, I want to play in the NFL, I have 1 more year left, I'm going to ball and go play in the NFL?
Yeah, so my junior year, I was ready to transfer to like an NAIA in Montana, and I just wanted to play. But no one wants to quit. No one wants to be that guy that gets made an example of for that reason. You know, so I stayed. I wanted to be a part of the team because we had something special that year, and made it to the semifinals. So I was happy to be a part of that. But going into the 2020 season when we didn't play, got the brand new coaching staff. We do spring ball with them, and the new head coach, like, we did exit meetings with them to end spring ball. And he's like, "Hey, I don't know if you've ever been told this before, but like, you can play in the NFL."
Yeah,
he coached at North Dakota State when they went on them, championship runs. He coached Josh Allen at Wyoming, and a coach like that coming to you saying, you can play. That was the first time I'd heard something like that. So ever since then, it just kind of clicked for me, and I knew that I could do it. I just needed to play good that year.
It's kind of go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, when that switch happened for you, did you start working out differently? Like, did you work more on a certain thing? Like, did you lean on him for more guidance? Like, okay, cool, why did you say that? What changed for you in that moment?
For me, it was not playing during that 2020 season. I've always said that COVID was a blessing in disguise. I had a year just to focus on myself, better myself, focus on my craft, and that's exactly what I did.
That's a blessing in itself, man. So, like, dig into the importance of having a coach believing in you, and then also, like, putting in good information into you for you to continue to compete. Because, like you said, wanting to go to the NAIA, that means that you were defeated at some point. Like, yo, I'm done with this space. And I've been there, you know what I'm saying? So, like, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, having a coach believe in you and have confidence in you is everything, Like, you can be as good as you, like, think that you are or whatever, but if you don't have a coach that's putting you in the right position to, succeed and just, instill that confidence in you day in and day out, I mean, for me, my first couple of years of college, that was the case. So,
right.
I mean, having a coach and a coaching staff that, like, believed in me from the jump, that meant the world to me.
That's huge, man.
Did you give that guy, like, more permission to speak into where you could improve?
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to coaching. It don't matter who the coach is.
Yeah.
I want to be coached. I want to get coached, and I want to get better. I've always looked at it. You might win on a fade ball, but there's coaching points at the line. Coaching points at the release. In your vertical stem. There's no matter if you have a positive on that play, there's always something I think that you can get better at.
I want to touch on that too, because you just spoke into something like where I think people don't understand, and I really don't understand either. Like, just in a fade ball, right? A straight go ball. I feel like people just think your job is to run by the guy, and there's no real technique or anything associated with that. Talk about like your release, like how hard it is to get off of a pro corners jam and then win the jump ball or win that rep. Hand placement, fighting with the hands, like you can't push off, you can't do anything. So how do you prepare for that? How do you like focus on that drill wise?
I mean, you just gotta.
Like I see you guys doing like releases and practicing.
Yeah, so I mean, you gotta when you get to the line, after you check with the or the ref on who's on or off, you probably got 10 seconds to check the leverage of the DB, try to see what coverage they're in. They're pros too. They're disguising. They have help inside. It might be man. You got safety over the top. There's a million different possibilities of what can go on, but. You get to the line, you gotta, peep the corner in front of you. How's he playing? And you gotta come to the line with at least a plan or two and a backup. So there's the release, there's the hand fight, the hand placement, there's the stacking, get back on top. Trying to keep him on your backside, keep him in your hip, and then tracking the ball,
knowing where you're at.
Yeah, knowing where you are on the sideline. You don't want to give too much. You don't want to get to the sideline too much because then, you make a very, very tight window for the QB. Basically has to make a perfect throw. So you want to give him as much space as you can. And then with all that you just did, you gotta
win.
You gotta make the play.
Yeah. See, I like that stuff is so detailed. The receiver DB part of it that I feel like people are like, oh, they line up and you just got to beat the guy.
Right.
But there's so much technique that goes into it, and being a pro, like he said, those guys are pros too. So the guys that are lined up against, across from you are no slouches. Who? With that being said, who do you think is the best corner that you have faced to this day?
Jalen Ramsey. I got to practice against him every single day.
What was your first rep like? Like, I know you were doing one-on-ones. Like, you were probably eager to get up. Lance is a hard worker, and I'm not trying to glaze you, like the kids would say. Like, but Lance works his ass off. That's a term, huh? That's yeah, I'm not trying to glaze you over here. We're glazing them too much. I actually heard Stephen A. say that, and I started cracking up. But no, Lance works his ass off. So to hear, I know you were eager to step up and go against Jalen Ramsey. So what was that like? What was your mentality like? What was your thought process like where you were like, holy shit, I'm about to go against Jalen Ramsey one-on-one?
I mean, I wouldn't say there was a lot of like fear or worry.
Yeah,
it's
never.
Practice at the end of the day, but for me, I was mostly on practice squad. So like those are my game reps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like even though I made the active roster, I was mostly on the scout team. So I mean, for me, it was I'm going against the best of the best every single day. Like it's work. So I felt like that really helped me a lot my rookie year.
Talk about when you signed here in Pittsburgh, the crazy story that you had with the birth of your son, signing, going back, coming back, practicing the next day. Tell that story real quick.
Yeah, I got cut from.
This is crazy.
I got cut from the Jets after the third preseason game. Waiting on calls, whatever. Week 2, I go to a workout with Denver. Don't make it. Week 4, go out to New Orleans. Don't make it. And then I'm just hanging out the crib in Jersey. My wife was pregnant. And come out here on a Sunday. Had the workout Monday morning. And made the workout, obviously. Was on the next flight out. Landed in Jersey at 6 p.m., 6:30. I got to the hospital at 6:30. Son was born at 6:59.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And
So
then
I got to be at the hospital with them for less than 24 hours, and I was on a Tuesday night flight for Wednesday morning practice.
Man, I'm surprised your girl ain't whoop
So
your
what are you
ass.
thinking on that Wednesday morning practice? What's going through your head? Like,
work his ass off.
Yeah, give
but
it
I
all
mean, are you
got.
thinking about that, or like I know everybody talks about putting the mask on, like when you buckle it up, but like, bro, you just had a baby. Like,
Yeah.
how do you fully shut off an outside life and like lock in like that?
I mean, obviously, I'm thinking about it, during the day, during meetings, like, damn, like, my son was just born, my wife's in the hospital bed,
Yeah.
and I'm out here. But, like, once you step outside and you're ready for practice, like, you kind of forget about all that. Like, and then, the moment you're done, you start thinking about it again.
Right.
But for me, I was just ready to work. I'd been sitting at the couch at home for 6 weeks, finally got an opportunity. So I was more eager than anything just to be ready to practice again.
Yeah, what's that headspace like when, you're first of all, you said you didn't have a ton of tape, like just because of how college played out. You go through the COVID year, you are getting cut off of all these teams. You have a coach that believes in you, right? People saying that you're going to make it in the league. Like what are your thoughts at that? Like, is there moments of doubt? Like, are you, so
Definitely.
set on like just keep pushing? Like, talk about like how crazy that is, because there's so many people that experience that have no idea, and those stories don't really get heard. So just, what's your perspective? And then if you had to give some insight to people that are going through that exact scenario, like what would you tell them like to really get their name out there even more?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely doubt. I mean,
Yeah.
100% there's
It's real.
doubt,
It's real.
Yeah, you're playing it with the best of the best.
Mhm.
Every year with the draft, there's a new group of guys coming in, and as an undrafted guy, that's probably the biggest thing you worry about is just getting replaced.
Yeah.
And so I go 2 workouts, 0-2 when it came to those workouts, and
Crazy.
Feels like shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
horrible when you fly out one night, you have a workout the next day, the next morning, and then you're on the next flight out that afternoon. So I just tried to stay in it. I go to the little fitness center at our complex and try to run on my own. And I didn't have a trainer out there. Never, was able to run routes or catch a ball.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pack up, my crib in Jersey and have to move. We got 2 dogs. They don't have to move 2
Yeah.
dogs, a newborn baby,
Mhm.
my wife. So
Yeah.
just stayed out there until I heard something. And like I said, there's definitely doubt when it comes to 6 straight weeks of sitting at home,
Mhm.
no calls, not making the workouts, and I mean I won't lie to you guys. I'm sitting there and I'm like, this might be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So then I come out here I was only here for 4 weeks. I cut week 10. Is what it is. Just some injuries. It's a number thing, but I mean I'm used to it. I'm going into year 4, and every time I've been cut, I feel like when I've been cut during the season, I didn't do anything like to get cut. It was
Yeah.
just a
Numbers.
numbers thing.
Happenstance, yeah.
Injuries are a part of this game, and for guys like for me in my position, there might be. And I was in Houston for 5 weeks, and there was a bunch of injuries on the defensive side of the ball.
Mhm.
And to bring guys in, you gotta free up some space on
Right,
offense, and I
right.
just happened to be one of them numbers. So
Crazy.
I mean, at this point, I'm kind of used to it. It doesn't get any easier, but I mean, you just keep working, just stay at it. If you want to do it, you'll keep working.
Yeah, one of the hardest parts I feel like about being on the practice squad is the fear of injuries happening.
Yeah.
It's stuff that's out of your control.
Right.
Like you got cut solely because injuries of another position. They had to bring in guys, and like people think you make the practice squad, but dude, the chances that a practice squad is set in stone a whole year, like making a practice squad for the whole year is incredibly hard
Right.
because those guys are filtered in and out, and
Every week.
every week you get an injury at D line, they're bringing in D linemen and cutting the receiver that we got on the P squad.
Right.
It's just how it works, and it sucks, but it's part of our business, and it's a shitty part of our business.
So what anchors you in a situation like that? Because that type of situation, like, it's defeating, and it's obvious that it's defeating. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, you got people counting on you, which as a man, I know is the hardest thing in the world because we typically take everything on our own shoulders, right? And I can speak for every man in here. I think we've all done that at least once, right? So, like, what anchors you in situations like that to be able to hold firm, to understand the situation, but also to know that you're going to be okay?
I mean, for me, it's the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's something you've been dreaming about since you were a kid, and not everyone has the opportunity to play in this league. So, like I said, just trying to just keep working, stay at it, and just try to stay as positive as you can.
Right.
Yeah.
When you guys, I don't want to get off topic here, but like all the stuff that's been like recent with like all the signings, the free agency, like how are you guys like
That's
when you
interesting, yeah.
receive that information? I mean, like bringing in a big receiver into that room, so like now you have somebody who's done it at a high level, teaming up with like a George Pickens, and like I'm interested to just see like how do you guys receive that news? How do you
like?
talk about it? Do you like text each other about it, or is it just like it doesn't matter what's going on and like just business as usual? I mean, I know part of that answer already, but like I mean, it's just big news. I want to talk about that.
Right.
There's like
Sure.
been some crazy free agency.
Cooper
and,
Cup's
like,
in the
I mean,
talks right now, so I know that's a lot of.
I know it doesn't
people.
pertain to your story, and that's why I said I don't want to get. But
No.
like,
No, you good.
you know, signing a DK Metcalf into that receiver room, that like now you have someone new to pull from, someone new to like work with, like to make yourself better. Like, you know, how does that change things for you when those things shake out?
For me, I kind of look at it like 50-50, you know, like on the positive side of it, I'm like, okay, this, you know, this is DK Metcalf, you know, he's a elite receiver in this league. It's an opportunity for me to, you know, learn from him, work with him, you know, try to steal from his game.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is, you know, damn, like
That's a spot.
yeah, that's a spot, you know. But I mean, at the end of the day, it don't matter who they bring in, who they draft. I mean, you got to work when it comes to camp. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
work.
They're going to bring in guys every year
Regardless.
at those at every position to test you, to make sure you're on your P's and Q's. So, and I feel like receiver, like whether they got DK or they bring in another guy or not, then they were going to draft. You know, they were going to draft. They obviously had that position of
In the
need they
mind,
wanted.
yeah.
So, they were going to bring in guys anyway.
Yeah.
So, the 50-50 aspect of it, definitely true.
But what do you guys both think? I mean, right now, as a Steelers fan, I'm excited. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? I think we got the Crash Out brothers together. I like it. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, like, there's a lot of new changes in Pittsburgh. And being a Pittsburgh fan since the day I was born,
Same.
Pittsburgh ain't never moved like this. I'm
No.
just being honest, but they don't move like this. When they moving right now. So I just want to see both of y'all's point of view right now since it's your team. You know what I'm saying? These are the guys that you're going to work and grind with and go to war with. So, like, what is y'all thoughts process? Because our thought process, I'm over here texting friends. I'm like, hey, we might be getting this person. This
Yeah,
right.
we need
And
a
I
little
really don't know.
off-season report. here.
Yeah, I'll touch on that. You know, if you're excited, you know, you bring in new teammates, especially guys like, you know, DK Metcalf, like that's he's an elite receiver, obviously, and you know you're excited about it. But at the same time, like you do lose guys that you were teammates with and you had relationships with. You know, Dan Moore signed, whoever you know signs, and it's like a double-edged sword. You want to see guys go and get paid and be happy and get what they deserve, but at the same time, like you're friends with those people and you have personal relationships. So it does suck to see some guys go, but at the end of the day, like you're happy for them and you want the money, and it's good to get new faces in. And obviously, like the NFL is a revolving door, dude. There's new faces in there every day, like every
you said,
day.
your friends get paid. It'd be one thing if they didn't get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like if they were just going back to the crib, that's different. I'm like, damn, I feel bad, but
He getting
Dan
paid.
Moore got paid.
Yeah. So it's definitely like I said, a double-edged sword. You're happy for guys. You're a little sad guys are leaving, but at the end of the day, like it's every year is different. New team, new locker room. So hopefully the guys that coming in buy in, which I'm sure they will. Like they meet with these guys extensively, so they wouldn't be bringing in guys that are going to cause issues and stuff. So I mean, Lance, you could touch on it more. I think it's different. Like each year that I'm on the team, I feel like more like new faces every year. But like you said, the Steelers really don't move. Like I feel like in free agency we haven't been that active
like
in
this.
the past.
Not like
And
this.
now we are bringing in like some big names, which is crazy, and it's cool. It's cool and it's fun for the fans
Yeah.
to see. So you could touch on that a little, what it's like.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm just trying to make the team.
Yeah.
That's
feel
really
that.
all I care about. I mean, I was only here for 4 weeks. I feel like more than lucky to have been signed a future contract, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, I haven't practiced since November of last year. So, like, for me, I'm eager to get back to it. Now I have a son. You know, he's going to be 5 months on Friday. So, I mean,
Congratulations.
Yeah,
that's just more motivation for me. And for me, just going through, like, how last season went, you know, I can't have that again.
Yeah.
So for those that maybe, you know, haven't seen your game yet, like what do you bring to the Steelers offense? Like what do we get when you're stepping on the field?
So, I mean, I'm a hard worker. Gonna try to get open all the time, you know. I feel like I'm a deep ball threat. So just when the ball's in the air, you know, I got the mindset that it's mine and I got to go get it. So, but yeah, really just my mindset right now is just keep working, do what I can, try to get better every day, and got to make this team.
You keep saying you're a very hard worker, and I pay attention to stuff like that because that's what I look for as a coach. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who actually considers himself a hard worker. But where does that come from? Like for me, it was my grandfather and my pops. You know what I'm saying? Even my mom, like they grinded. You know what I mean? My grandmother was 90-something. She was still trying to work with a broken foot. I'm like, grandma, like, it ain't going to work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but who does it come from for you?
For me, it's my mom. I won't get into it too much, but I don't have a relationship with my dad at all. It's been me and my brother and my mom since I was 3-4 years old. So, and she's still doing it to this day. I mean, she's working 2 jobs. As long as I've known, she's always worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3. So, I mean, that's where I get it from.
Yeah, and I just wanted to reiterate as well too. So like, are you like focused on building tape? Like, where do when your agent is reaching out to teams and stuff, like, are they pulling from tape in college, like preseason practice squad, like snaps? Like, are you creating like your own tapes or just workout reels? Like, what does that look like? Because I know your agent's handling that stuff for you, but are they just going off of your agent selling you, or is it something that you're doing that you're like, I'm gonna show them in this practice right here, like why I should be on the team? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I
When
mean, I
you're-
say
yeah.
word of mouth
Holy
from, coach to coach.
Holy
There's-
shit, dude.
So it's not what you know, it's who you know. For
It's-
real.
Yeah.
who you know-
For me,
yeah.
going into my 4th year, I
Wow.
don't think teams are looking at my college tape and making a
Right,
decision.
and that's
you
what I was
know?
thinking. So is it practice or
So, I
like
mean,
a highlight tape
It's really
you make?
preseason and word of mouth.
That's
honestly.
fucking insane.
Yeah.
That
Dude,
is
like
insane.
Shit.
the GMs and the owners, like they talk a lot. Like they
Yeah.
obviously they have to when they're making up like how much they pay a position. Like these owners meet on that because
Yeah.
they don't want to overpay a guy because then they got to overpay a guy.
Right.
So they have to come to an
Yeah, they're all
agreement on what
talking.
you're paying a guy, and then they got to come to an agreement on, hey, this guy's a good work. Like there's word of mouth going on with the GMs, owners, and coaches
Absolutely.
that they know guys.
But with that said, though, there's so
crazy.
many guys that are in the NFL system. You know what I'm saying? So how are they going through? Again, to your point, you're like, bro, I've been here for 4 years and I'm trying to still find my way in. Like, how are these GMs going through all these guys? 'Cause there's a lot of guys who are out there searching and running for it. You feel me?
They're not, bro.
They're
They're
yeah,
just not.
that's why so many guys are on the couch that are unbelievable football players that are on the couch because you physically can't see everybody.
Right.
Like it's impossible to see every football player. I mean, they say if you're good enough, they'll find you. Like FCS, they found him. Like they will. If you're good enough, they will find Danny Woodhead. He's a D3 running back. They found him.
Yeah.
They will find you if you're good enough. But at the same time, when you're in it and you're in the practice squad, I feel like it's almost it's like harder because you're not coming off a college film. You don't have all the film. You don't have all the hype.
Right.
You're on the practice squad.
That's so mind blowing. So it's really like you could do everything right and
Yeah.
still get the shit end of a stick on that. Like that is so crazy. I would think that there's some system almost like a transfer portal for practice squad guys. Like, why is that not a thing where like you can potentially snag one of these people
Jesse,
off? Like,
Jesse, don't
crazy.
start giving them information that we can go create a business on.
Yeah.
Don't just, you know what I'm saying, chill for a second.
that's just wild to me. Like, I just can't believe there's a system that's not implemented. It's word of mouth. So like, you really got to like buddy up with the coaches in a way, or like you have a really good agent that's like
Market yourself.
can
well.
market.
Market
Yeah,
yourself.
and
You got to
it's like,
brand the shit out of yourself. In
oh
that
my
sense.
god, that's
Start a podcast.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, that just blew my mind.
I mean,
I
it's
was like,
part of the strategy, dude. Like
It
your
is.
your business is not just on the field. Like
yeah,
I mean, we talk about all the free agents. Like how much conversation have they had about the play? There's no question these guys can play.
mm-hmm.
It's what do you bring to the locker room? That's like what
True.
people care about. So,
Yeah.
dude, I mean, I think I've played enough sports. I didn't play at your level, but like I would want to be on your team. Like the hardworking nature. Like you got a chip on your shoulder. You got something to
appreciate
play
that.
for. So I'm rooting for you this year, man.
Thank
Like
you.
I'm definitely
Same.
gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
following along, and like you make a big play, man. I'm gonna be twirling the towel. Like let's
I
go, dude. We're
appreciate
pulling
that.
for you big time.
Oh yeah. Well, I want to get into a more personal stuff. You becoming a new father, and with me, my wife expecting.
Oh, yeah.
What's it been like, and what kind of tips? I know we talked about it. You got him the jumping thing, and I see the video. He's
Little
jumping
jolly
around.
jumper.
What's been like the biggest adjustment being a new father, and like all these moves that you've had in the last 6 months? Like, at what point do you think that he's gonna like understand that, and like what you've been going through?
Is he a deep ball threat?
Yeah,
I'm
is
kidding.
he-
I know you was back there with the
He is,
football
bro.
in your hand.
He already got him jumping and shit. I swear to God, he's in the machine jumping.
There we go. Now we're talking.
I mean, it's been
Amazing.
an amazing 5 months already, and it's crazy to think that he's already 5 months old. You
Yeah.
know, but I mean, for me right now, the hardest thing is just trying to balance. Getting my work in, and I need a couple hours every day to get my workout in, my training in, running, whatever it is. balancing being a father, and balancing being a husband. You know,
Mhm.
like my wife right now is working from home, and you know, being a mother as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough she's able to, you know, work 2 jobs at home right now and
Wow.
be able to let me, you know, do what I need to do so I can make this team. And she's
Shout out
very
to her,
understanding
man.
of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You
shout out
know,
to the wife.
More than appreciative.
Matter of
Yeah.
fact, point at that camera. Let her know you love
Yeah.
her. You know?
Love you, baby.
Get you some brown and white to try and help
Yeah.
you out.
Yeah.
No.
So,
Go ahead,
so-
Jess.
Thank you. So on that topic, though, I'm assuming there's a bit of a mentality shift. Like, there's probably a little bit more of a little extra pep in your step. Not to say that it wasn't already there, but I did see, doing the research, like you are a very big advocate for mental health, and I don't know if you want to like get into like what started that, and then like what is your goals with that, and like why is it important to speak out, and then like as you're developing as a father, an athlete, a husband, how are all those things playing into the original mission that set you off on to speaking out on that, because it's a
Good
tough
question.
thing to speak
Good
out
shit,
on.
Jesse.
Question.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I try to be a big advocate for mental health with whatever platform I have, you know. But
Yeah.
kind of where it all started, in 8th grade, my best friend
Yeah.
committed suicide.
Yeah.
So
It's terrible.
I mean, it was a 14-year-old,
Sorry.
13, 14-year-old. That was wild to go through.
Yeah.
And then, was it 9 months later, another best friend died in a car accident. So,
Oh.
yeah, that was 8th grade and freshman year of high school. All that happened. So, yeah, I mean, I've only opened up about this like really one time, but the friend who committed suicide, you know, we weren't necessarily friends at the time. You know, we were kind of beefing on. I don't even remember what it was. Probably some bullshit, but
Interesting.
just to have him, you know, take his own life over, and me not to be there, or, you know, not understand what he's going through. I mean, that kind of, you know, that killed me.
Yeah.
You know, he passes, and you know, we weren't the boys that we grew up together as, you know. So I always just try to use my platform to show people that, you know, professional athletes go through this.
Right.
And, you know, as men, you know, we're always told, you know, to, you know, not talk about your emotions, to be tough and, you know, work past it and this and that. But like, everyone goes through some kind of shit, you know.
Yeah.
So just try to do the best I can to understand, or to make people understand that, you know, hey, it's, you know, you're not going through this alone.
Yeah.
And that, you know, you're going to have a lot of, you know, loved ones and friends and family that, like, you know, love and miss you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to also like emphasize not only the importance of everybody really like understanding the mental side of things, especially for athletes. You guys get painted as superheroes. It's a double-edged sword. It's cool, but you know, you guys are also, you know, living a regular life as well too. But I also want to emphasize, and maybe you can attest to this, is like maybe people need to start putting their differences aside a little bit more, because that's interesting that, you know, that you led that with, you guys had beef at that time, and you know, I'm sure that fucked with you a little bit more, knowing that there was probably some, like you said, probably some petty beef, and you know, now it's a tragic ending for that. But like, I think people need to realize like what we have while we have it, appreciate that, put our shit aside, and like, you know, have more of that unity and stuff. So I think that's important, and maybe you can, you know, emphasize on that if that's.
I also think there has to be some accountability towards that too, though. And when I say accountability, I'm just talking about from friends and people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Person
check in
that's-
and stuff.
That's
Yeah.
going through it. One, being
Right.
accountable for yourself to say that I need help. And the person who's trying to be a friend, just be accountable enough to just to say like, yo, you good. And then actually know the truth when they tell you, no, I'm straight.
Yeah.
Because that's the hard part. We always get asked as men, as women across the country, like often, are you all right? 9 times out of 10, what are you going to say?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
I'm good.
Right?
good.
So knowing the truth, like when you see it, if that's your homeboy, you see like, you saying that, but I done seen you a couple of different times and you don't look the same, you know what I mean? So that accountability of self as well, just making sure that you don't go by not saying something because you're unsure. It's best to say something than to say nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's hard to speak up, you know.
Yeah, it's
It
very
is.
hard.
Yeah,
It's hard to speak up and ask for help, and I feel like it's hard to listen to.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, when you're in a locker room with, you know, a bunch of alpha males that have been, you know, the top dogs at their school, at their team, whatever.
Yeah.
It is hard to speak up and, you know, tell other grown men, like how you're feeling. You don't know
Yeah.
if they're like going to call you a bitch or what.
Yeah, you don't
Like,
want any
right.
point of
yeah.
weakness.
So, but in a sense, like no one, I genuinely feel like this, like people paint pictures of football players, especially like NFL football players, to be, you know, not loyal,
All the above.
dogs in the street, whatever it may
Yeah.
be, you know.
Real.
But at the
That's not
same
what I've
time, like
experienced. Everybody you've brought in here has been, I mean,
genuine.
Yes.
genuine good people,
Dude, and
Like,
it's and
that's
that
been
is
the
like
takeaway
that
for
is
me.
like 99% of our locker room. Like
Yes.
and you could probably speak to it. You've been on, you know, a couple other teams than I have, and like I'm sure there are good dudes in the locker room. Like there's not, yeah, you're gonna have one or two that are, you know, might not, you know,
Yeah.
have their head on straight or whatever it may be. But for the majority of it, dude, these are good people in there. Like this is $1 billion business. They're not gonna bring in guys that are gonna be trouble in the workplace or
Yeah.
or cause shit to happen. So speaking up is definitely like it's tough, but you know, it happens in the NFL locker room and it's needed. You know what I mean? So that's cool that you're into that, the mental health aspect
Yeah.
of it and the story behind it. I didn't know that. You know, that's crazy. That's it's unfortunate, you know, events for someone that young to take their life, for anyone to take their life. But
Yeah.
damn, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
seriously,
cool.
man. That vulnerability is gonna save someone. Like, keep speaking out on that stuff, and like you do
Mm-hmm.
it in an authentic way. So that's what's refreshing about it. You know, like I could tell that like that work that you've done is real. Like that's real
Right.
mental work that you've put in. It's not just like you know, it's just a trending topic that you know you want to talk about. Like you put in that work. Like I've seen you put in that work. Like you guys need to speak more on that. And you know, Christian, like bro, you're mental to get through to this point as well. Like so, you've been through it as well. And I think you know we continue to use the platform for like good stuff. Like I want to talk about the DK trade and I want to talk about stuff like this.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why I love being a part of this. So
Yeah.
appreciate you guys.
It is beautiful.
Definitely, thank you. And I wanted to ask you guys, I don't know if you guys have this on your team. Do you guys have somebody that like leads the team in that way? Like offers like themselves to each other? You know what I'm saying?
Right, you know, in Pittsburgh, we do have a lot of good like leaders on the team that, and we talked about it when PK was on the
Right.
podcast. You know, PK's like the staple in our facility of like who you're going to go to if you're feeling a certain way, and because obviously like PK, so like you could talk to PK about
Right,
anything.
anything.
So I'd say PK's like that staple, but as for players, like, you know, just the vets, the guys that have been around, you know, Alex Highsmith, Killebrew, Cam, you know, any of these guys that have been around the league for years and have seen all kinds of shit, like those are the guys that people tend to go to and lean on. And, you know, if you need advice, like those are dudes that are like, they are family men, they are family football, like,
Right.
and they have their shit aligned, and those are the dudes that you tend to follow and ask questions to. So we're lucky here in Pittsburgh to have, you know, good leaders and good people in the building.
Awesome.
And I'm not just saying that because like
Yeah.
I'm on the team,
Right.
and like I truly believe like in the locker room, dude, we have good people, and in that building we have great people.
Yeah.
So
huge, bro.
yeah,
Do you guys see that on like you know, all the teams that you've kind of been around? Like, have you seen somebody get like brought under a certain player's wing and like watch that person like develop and grow? Because again, an unsung thing that no fan or no TV or media is picking up, because you know it might be a P Squad guy that just got something go wrong in the mental space, and then you know you got like a Cam or a Minka or you know somebody like taking them in, and like the value. You know, people watch older players get drafted and you're like, why would you want, you know, 38-year-old so-and-so?
Yeah.
It's like, well, you got a player coach, and, you know, that might impact a rookie, and that guy becomes, you know, the next insert name. So do you guys see that like happen in real time? And like, what's that like for you? You know, does that kind of inspire you to be like, maybe I could do this for somebody else, or, you know, maybe that's what I need to get over the edge? Like,
Yeah, I see it every day, and no,
Oh,
I'm
that's awesome.
speaking just based on our locker room, but I see it every day. Like young corners, Corey Trice working with D-Jack, working with Cam Sutton, who Keanu Benton working under Cam, like
Yeah.
just learning the ropes, what Cam was doing. Herbig learning from TJ. Like when Herb's here, when he's here, he follows TJ around.
Yeah.
Like it sounds cliche, like you follow him, but he literally follows him around, does his workouts, everything he does, he's doing.
yeah,
So like, and obviously TJ gives him his shit about it. Like he's
Yeah.
a little brother of Wisconsin.
As-
You looked
he
up to
loves
me,
that shit,
yeah.
though.
But
Yeah.
but at the same time, like Herb wants to be great, and
Right.
you see it him following TJ, a guy that's obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer, and it's cool. It's cool to see that.
Yeah.
I would almost guess you're the guy in the locker room that people come to like comfortably, and in a way where they don't feel like they have to give you anything. They just feel like they can be around you just for peace. You know
They
what I'm
talk
saying?
shit, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you talk shit all day. You know?
That's why it works out with it.
Yeah, Lance sees it. Lance sees it. We walk through the building like, I'll just mess with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, saying fuck you to everyone.
Christian.
Damn,
Bad.
my mom listens to this.
Sorry, Mom.
No,
Did you say it to Danny? Because I know Danny ain't.
no, not Danny. I just messed with Danny. Danny had his shoulder surgery from 2 years. Well, was that 2 years ago? The Green Bay
Oh,
that brawl
yeah.
broke out. Danny
Yeah.
got crushed. Dude, Danny's a tough son of a bitch, bro.
Yeah,
He had 2 torn rotator cuffs. He couldn't even lift his shoulders like this for 2
damn.
years. He got surgery, so we see him in there doing rehab every day. He's like touching the wall, like doing things. I'll just mess with him. He'll be
That's
like, "Man,
funny.
get out of here!" Like,
funny.
but it is funny.
Yeah. And yeah, we did see, like, we were actually watching some stuff, your mic'd up segments, and there was a segment where Cooper Kupp was giving, like, you were in the end zone, and it was a touchdown that had scored, but he was talking to you about, like, using the leverage off of the defender to, like, kind of break you into your own route. Like, is there any, like, value or, like, you know, can you put any sort of, like, title on, like, how important that is? Like, is there a level of gratitude just to have a Cooper Kupp talking to you, or, like, what's your thoughts on those things? Like,
Yeah, I mean, Cooper Kupp, one of the great receiver in the league, and when I got there, he was coming off his Triple Crown season.
Yeah.
So, I
Right.
mean,
Crazy.
Wild, dude.
to be in there, mid game in a preseason game,
Yeah.
my first preseasons, and having a guy like Cooper, coaching me on the sideline, you're
Special.
gonna listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's-
Well, you led the league that preseason, right? Or something
Yeah.
like that in
Yeah.
receiving
You
yards.
ate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he giving you the cheat code right there. Like,
Uh-huh.
that's a blessing, bro.
I mean,
Blessing.
it'd be foolish of me not to listen to a guy,
Right.
like Cooper, So that's why, like I said earlier, I'm excited about a guy like DK coming in. Like
Yes.
I played with, Cooper and Van Jefferson. Went to Houston with Nico Collins.
Wow.
Tank Dell.
Yeah.
The Jets with Garrett Wilson. Mike Williams came in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alan Lazard. So like it'd be foolish of you not to, listen and learn and take pieces of their game and add it to yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, that like the veteran guys, I don't get that as a long snapper. Some obviously we'll have competition, but I was in the same boat. I was lucky enough to have Matt Overton, a good friend of mine. He played for the Colts for years. He was Pat McAfee's snapper.
Yeah.
And then he's a workhorse. He's been bouncing around, and he's played a total of, I think, 12 years. But I was lucky enough to be with him in Jacksonville when I was super raw at long snapping and learning. And he kind of set the precedent for me to, like, there's no need to be a dick. Like, this guy's coming to work and chase his dream as well.
Yeah.
Like, you can help him. You don't have to, like, shun him away from, what you might have learned and what you've, taken in your, toolbox and applied it. So I was lucky enough to have him, and I kind of try to, when we have, if another snapper is in here, whatever, like, I'm not a type of guy that's gonna. There's no, like, that guy wasn't. He's not like, oh, I'm gonna go to Pittsburgh, and he didn't pick to come here. They picked him to come here. So
Right.
it's not like a personal vendetta against the guy that you're competing against. It's more so a battle against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like some people take that the wrong way, and they do have that vendetta against a new guy for no reason. Just
Yes.
because I get it, like you said, bro. Like, new guys coming in all the time. You don't know if you're gonna be there. Like, I get the competition piece, but like, I feel like the guys who really show that team effort stay longer, and the guys who become more me, they might have a good year or two, but they don't last long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you definitely see it. I mean, I've heard stories. I haven't firsthand have seen this, to my point, but I've heard stories of guys asking veteran for help and them being like, nah, or like
It's crazy.
them trying to step up for a rep and the veteran being like, no, get to the back of the line.
It's just insecurity coming out, right?
But like at the same time, when you're a rookie or a P-squad receiver or linebacker and you want to get a rep and that vet wants a rep, you ain't getting that rep.
Mm-hmm.
See, I feel like it all comes back around. Like, I'm a big believer of like
does.
karma, yo. Like, and if it don't come back around in your NFL season, at the end of the day, the one thing I can say Brian for sure said that it's always sat with me was the fact that one thing is guaranteed: either you're gonna work for somebody or you're gonna have a job or a business. So if that's the case, then like, if you're being that type of guy now, and then you go to start a company, you're gonna catch another guy. Or if you go to work for somebody else after you play, you're gonna catch that type of guy. So
Yeah.
like, I really appreciate you two guys for being good guys, man, because I feel like I've met a lot of people as well, just who are in the game and still playing the game, and some of them just not great guys. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, like, commend you guys for that.
Yeah, I mean, like Kuntz said, I mean, I've never, of the 4 teams I've been on, I've never seen or been an older guy, a vet, not be willing to help
it's
you
great.
out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like most of the guys are more than eager or more than willing to help you out. Just got to ask,
It comes so too, like if you feel a young guy that wants to work, like if you're feeling that from him, like, okay, this guy he's asking questions, he's busting his ass, like he wants to work, then you're more likely to get the help from the veteran.
Right.
If you're a guy that's like, oh, I'm a 5th round pick, linebacker, I'm not playing special teams. You think those veterans are going to try to help you if that's your attitude?
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah,
no.
humility's huge.
Yeah,
Right.
you have to be
Attitude and
you have to be
effort, baby.
willing to take that criticism, to take that advice from an older guy or a coach, or to take the backlash from a coach if you do play like shit.
Wow.
Like it's just real. Like you have to be coachable. You have to be coachable to your other players. Like your players are going to coach you too. Because sometimes, like, dude, the dudes in the NFL know sometimes more than the coaches. Sometimes
sure.
more than their position coach, because they're out there, they're feeling it, they're playing. Like you guys know, you played. Like sometimes you got a feeling on the field, or if like they're playing a certain coverage on him or certain leverage, and like they might not see that in the box, but they come to the sidelines, they're like, yo, they're playing inside leverage, and we can hit this slant. Like, why don't we just hit this slant? Like it's just little shit like that where, players and coaches do have relationships, but at the same time, you do have to be willing to get coached and to get the backlash if you play like shit.
Yeah.
And that's that's what I think like makes a good team. Like guys that are willing to do that and to sacrifice that, and the humility part of it. Like if you ain't being coached, dude, you shouldn't be there.
Right.
I feel
Right.
like that's hard nowadays because I feel like we grew up in an age, especially Vinny's age and Christian's age, where
Damn.
where guys, but I'm just being honest here. This is me giving you guys actual credit. It's like
Thank you.
guys grew up working hard. You know what I'm saying? I feel like with social media, like it's hard to be humble at times because like a lot of these kids are glorified before they ever actually touch a professional field.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I
dude.
mean? So like you can kind of see it.
If social media was what it is now, like I for sure
You'd be arrested.
I had my Instagram. I had my Instagram tag on my cleats in like 2010, bro.
Oh
Like,
my
I was
gosh.
on this shit.
Yeah,
Follow me.
did Jesse make the cleats?
This was way before we
Way
even-
before
you
yeah,
guys
way
met.
before we
No,
knew
I
each other.
taught
We were in middle
Jesse how
school.
to make cleats. Ask him.
Wow.
We're not going to do this. We are not going to do this. So, anyways, what's life after football look like for you? Like, we're gonna say that you're gonna have more successful years. You're gonna get that roster spot. Like, once all that's said and done, what's your line of approach? Do you want to focus more on the mental health aspect? Do you want to focus more on being family man, coach? Guide the youth a little bit. Like, where's your head at in your
Or
like
you
true
wanna,
passion?
Like get into baking. Like Beanie said he
Beanie.
wants to do.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
what's your
honestly,
like
I
off the
haven't-
wall to piggyback off?
yeah,
yours?
I like that. Go ahead.
I haven't really given it like that much thought. Like right now, it's stay in the league as long as you can.
Get that.
But I've always wanted to be a coach. I feel like coming out of high school, I was not ready to go play, Division I football, and so I feel like I definitely do want to go back and be like a high school receiver coach. But then, money is always a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
You don't want to go back and be a high school receiver coach. I'm doing it right now, and I'm telling you, you don't want to go back.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I haven't given it like a lot of thought of being a head coach or a receiver coach or whatever it is, but there's besides Texas high school football, there's not a lot of money in high school coaching. So then, do I want to go coach college?
You move around.
That's family time.
College
Yeah.
college coaching is 2 jobs. You
Yeah.
got the season and then you got recruiting.
Come on.
And that driving around, flying around, going to different high schools. 3 different high schools a day. Like
Yeah.
that ain't for me.
Right.
So,
It'd be cool if coaching was like a profession where you could just, you're going to stay there for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Not a profession where you get a job and then next year, hey, we're going to
Move in a different
flip the whole
direction.
staff. You're going to go to California now.
That's hard on families too, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you just had a son. Me personally, like, I told myself I wouldn't go coach in college because I wanted to be a father. And I have my coaches that I've been around, you know what I'm saying? You've had coaches you've been around. Like, we spend, at a Division I level, you're spending probably like 320 days a year with the team. But the coaches don't really leave. They get like a week off. I'm just like, bro, like,
Yeah.
what's your son's birthday? Like, can you tell me how old your son is? And I had one coach that literally could not tell me, like, how old his son was.
Yeah.
Like,
and them
that's
college
crazy.
coaches are there from 5 in the morning to 8
It's
at night,
wild.
watching film and doing cut ups and tape and all that. I mean, it's a
hard.
hard job.
Yeah. That's coaching is a different animal, but hey, they get compensated well too.
They do.
So, take me in before we wrap up, Lance. I appreciate you coming in. What's one thing that you want to go into, this OTA period, this off-season period, and even into training camp that you want to like focus on, whether that's special teams. I know, we've talked, and I don't have the blueprint to make it, but I feel like I got good advice for some young guys. Like, if you're, we talked about this in the hot tub. Like, if you're a young guy, it sounds weird, but
How you say it? Like,
yeah.
Pause.
We talked about it in the tubs. No, but like,
Come here, bud.
if you're a young guy and you're a linebacker or whatever coming in as undrafted free agent, you should be practicing your punt steps. Like small things like that. You should obviously be worried about your positional work and what you're doing to make the team at your position, but at the same time, like your position is going to be special teams. So like you should work punt footwork because when you get there in the first day of OTAs, oh boys, it can be ugly. Like these guys the footwork's all messed up. So one thing for you going into this off-season period and even into training camp that you're like, okay, this is my, my bread and butter's receiver, but this is going to be my path.
I mean, just putting good stuff on tape.
Yeah.
On both offense and teams, because
Gunning.
I know that being an undrafted guy and trying to make the roster, if I want to make the roster and get a jersey and play like for this team, it is going to be on special teams. Being a receiver, there's 3 or 4 guys who are really up, like legit playing. But like, if you want to potentially get some receiver reps, you got to be up on special teams.
Yes.
So for me, it's just I wasn't here during camp, obviously, so I'm a little behind on some of the coaching and how Danny wants it, but ready to embrace some of the coaching and the learning points as far as on special teams, and then just keep adding to my bag as a receiver and
For sure.
put good stuff on tape.
For sure. When he gives those coaching points, dude, follow what he is saying because his shit works. Danny's been doing this for 50 years. Like he knows his shit. So my advice to you and everybody, I mean, I already told you, just when he says do it this way, do it that way. That shit works. And he and what I love about, Danny and what he does is like he doesn't put up, how like coaches are demonstrating, they'll put up highlight tapes. Mm-hmm. He doesn't put up highlight tapes. He'll just put raw footage on and be like, this is a random play from, well, let's go to this game. He's going to go to punt, click a random play, said, look at this technique. And there'll be a guy doing exactly what like we were teaching in OTAs and training camp, a release as a gunner, picking up the towel, fighting, hand placement, like Joey being a jammer and laying a guy and letting him run out of bounds so he can't be the first to touch. Like just little things like that. Danny gives like little nuggets that guys can pick up on that make you a great player. So I feel like following him and becoming like Danny Smith's best friend is a key to making Pittsburgh's team.
I think you just go out there and start a fight. Just go that route too.
We are not building an MMA squad.
I'm just saying.
That's what Coach D says. I like tough people. I appreciate it, but we are not building an MMA squad. You'll hear it in training camp because obviously there's
Are
fights.
you sure though?
Start swinging
DK
helmets,
Metcalf, George Pickens.
Yeah,
That sounds like
you
MMA
pick a
to
fight
me.
with GP and Metcalf on day 1, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I promise you he will be on the white jersey side of that fight. He will be on their side.
Yeah, that's the point.
When there's a fight, white jerseys and yellow jerseys are.
It gets active.
Yeah,
On it.
he won't be fighting other white jerseys.
Before we go, what was the funniest one you've seen so far? Like, have you seen anybody like?
Ooh,
There's some funny ones because I know I got a couple in my head that I'm like, that was funny as hell.
I'll say one. My rookie year, we were joint practice with the Bengals.
Ooh.
Right at Rams, Bengals, Super Bowl.
You guys had just
We had a
played,
joint
yeah.
practice with
Wow.
them. And that big Aaron Donald fight with the whole Bengals offense.
Oh yeah, you were.
we were there for that.
That's
That was
Yeah, we just
wow.
held 2 Bengals
Yeah.
helmets.
Yeah.
Man, he's different though.
He's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I watched this man do some crazy stuff on film when he was in college. He beat up 2 people at the same time.
He did it there too. That's
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm
just
saying.
crazy.
I mean, he trains with knives in the off season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's different.
Yeah.
Do you just sit there and go Aaron?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
What do you do?
I'd be, get him.
Yeah.
Get him, man.
I'd be
You
cheering.
showed
I'd be
him.
cheering him on.
Thanks for holding my helmet, Mr. Sean.
They started finding teams to join practice. If you fight, you get fined like $100,000. Because we had a joint practice this past year with Buffalo, and they were very adamant on like, yo, if you're fighting, you're
And
you're
that's
paying
why
the fine.
flag football is now becoming a world sport.
Yes. But to answer your question, I don't think our fights are like just normal, like probably 2 weeks into camp. You're just sick of hitting the same guys. You're sick of hitting your teammates, guys trying to make the team,
Yeah.
going to the whistle or a little beyond the whistle, then it getting chippy, then a guy coming in and cracking a guy. There's been some ones that I stay far away from.
Can I tell you my favorite fight of the year, personally?
Which
When your man, D. Washington, I ain't gonna say who he had pinned up against.
oh
the Eagles,
yeah, our new
but he-
teammate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that to me, I was like, okay, they're just doing a little bit. Then everybody start pulling up. I was like, nah,
Yeah.
this is football.
Yeah.
Camp could get interesting.
Darnell's one dude that you probably shouldn't fight. I mean,
Yeah.
he could,
Yeah, I wouldn't
he could
take
get a
him out.
hand on you, and I'd be like this, trying to get him. Yeah, but he's a large human. So,
Oh man.
but damn, Lance, I appreciate you coming in, boys. Thank you very much. Swing, thanks for coming again. You're not even in here.
That's fine.
Shout out Swing.
This wraps up season 1, episode 35.
Dan Kreider.
Dan Kreider, 35. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, re-X, TikTok.
All that.
One more. One more. Just do it.
We're out.